Okay, guys, this is going to be our practice. I'm going to do several of the problems with you, and then I'm going to leave the other, excuse me, others for you to take care of. Number 2 on your practice sheet, I have m to the 4th. Come on, pen. Times 2m to the negative 3. So I'm multiplying bases here. That means that's my product rule, right? And in my product rule, I add the exponents, okay? So I've got two numbers. My coefficients are 1 and 2. 1 times 2, that gives me 2. Then I have m to the 4 plus negative 3. Which is just a 1. So that is m, or m to the 1st. It's not going to make a difference if you put that on there or not, okay? Just like this one here. It's assumed to be there if you don't write it in, okay? Another one of those. I have number 4. Oh, this pen. All right, 4 is 4n to the 4th times 2n to the negative 3. Again, let's take those numbers. 4 times 2. N to the 4 plus negative 3. So this time I get 8n. 4 plus negative 3 is a 1. 4 times 2 is a 8. And that wraps up that one. Okay. If I have multiple, I'm looking at at 6. Number 6 is 2x to the 3rd, y to the negative 3 times 2x to the negative 1, y to the 3rd. My coefficients, 2 and 2. 2 times 2. Same base. I can't mix those x's and y's together, so I'm going to have x to the 3 plus negative 1. And I'm going to have y to the negative 3 plus 3. Okay? Again, here's me. I'm trying to be tricky again. So 2 times 2 is 4. 3 plus negative 1 is squared. So I've got 4x squared. And then I have y to the negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So if that's y to the 0, guys, how many y's should I have in here if this is labeled as y to the 0? Well, I should have 0 y's, right? So I'm going to get rid of that y. That needs to be gone. My answer, 4x squared. Okay. I'm going to go to problem 10. I have x squared, x to the 2nd power, y to the negative 4. I have x to the 3rd power, y squared. All right, my coefficients are just 1, so it's just 1 times 1, and it's going to stay 1. You can put it there, or you can choose not to. It doesn't matter with that one. I have x to the 2 plus 3. Don't mix up your x's and y's. You've got to have the same base. And I have y to the negative 4 plus 2. All right, this one's going to be a little bit different. I have x to the 5th, y to the negative 2. And what did we say we had to do yesterday when we had a negative exponent? Remember, that's a positive value. It says inverse, which means we have to flip it over. So that means I have x, I'm going to put this over 1, and an x to the 5th is going to stay just where it's at. But the y to the negative 2 has to be moved downstairs. And when I move it, that negative 2 becomes a positive 2. Okay? All right, let's talk about that power rule. Problem 12. Come on, pen. All right, on 12, I have 2x to the second. Remember, this exponent and this 2 have nothing to do with each other because exponents only apply to what it can touch. And a negative 4. I have a 1 on here. So negative 4 times 1 is 2 to the negative 4. All right, negative 4 times 2 is x to the negative 8. Both of my terms have a negative. So I'm going to put this all over 1, and the 1 is going to come up top, and the 2 to the 4th is going to come down, and the x to the 8 is going to come down. And again, once I move them, those exponents become positive. All right, the only other thing, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So when I have 2 to the 4th, I have 16x to the 8th. Okay? All right, 14. I have 4a to the 3rd to the 2nd. Again, this 3 has nothing to do with this 4. When it comes to that 4 has its own exponent of 1. So I have got to distribute in, I got to expand it. 2 times 1 is 4 to the 2nd power. 2 times 3 is a to the 6th power. Everybody's positive, so I don't have to do any flipping. 4 times 4 is 16, so I have 16a to the 6th power. Okay? All right, another one with some flipping. Number 16. I have 4 x y to the negative 1. Again, 1, come on, pen. 1, 1, and 1. Distribute in. So that's going to give me 4 to the negative 1, x to the negative 1, y to the negative 1. All of them are negative, so all of them have to be moved. I'm going to put it over 1. I'm going to put the 1 on top and put the 4xy on the bottom. Okay? Once I flip them, they become positive. All right, I'm going to do 18. X to the, x to the 2nd, y to the negative 1 to the 2nd. Distribute. That's your power rule. You're going to multiply. X to the 2 times 2 gives me x to the 4th. Y to the 2 times negative 1 gives me y to the negative 2. Okay, I have a negative, so I'm going to have to flip. Putting it over 1, x to the 4th is fine. It's staying right where it's at. I got to flip that x to the negative 2 over. So I'm going to have x to the 4th, and this guy has got to come down. Y, once it's down there, that's a positive 2. Okay? All right. 20. Okay, hold on for me a minute, guys.
We're going to turn the nails off. We're getting ready to do some testing. So go ahead and synchronize your time right now on the intercom. It is 9 o'clock. So please go ahead and look at your time and make sure you're on the same time. We're all on the same time. So we're getting ready to turn off the bells. Thank you. And students, please stay silent in the halls because we're testing. Thank you.
Okay, so negative 2 times 1 is 3 to the negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 is m to the negative 2. I have negatives, so I need a fraction. I need a top and bottom. So that's going to give me 1 over 3 squared m squared, which is going to be 1 over 9m squared. Okay? All right, we're going to move on 22. We're going to move on to our quotient rule. And remember, our quotient rule is where we subtract. So I'm going to have x to the negative 1 over 4x to the 4th, right? Remember, it's always top minus bottom. The x's, I don't have anything to mess with when it comes to that 4. There's no other number, so I'm just going to bring the 4 along. Then I have x to the negative 1 minus 4. Gives me x to the negative 5 over 4. Now that's negative, so I got to move it down. So if I flip that, what's left up there? Again, just a 1. 1 over 4 x to the 5th power. Okay? 24. M to the 4th over 2m to the 4th. Now, you might recognize right now, hey, I got m to the 4th over m to the 4th. What's anything divided by itself? Just a 1, right? So in the end, this is going to be 1 over 2. Top minus bottom. Nothing else with this 2, so I'm bringing that along. M to the 4 minus 4. 4 minus 4 gives me m to the 0. So I have m to the 0 over 2. What is m to the 0? It is 1. All right, 26. 2. X to the 4th, y to the negative 4, z to the negative 3. 3. X to the 2nd, y to the negative 3, z to the 4th. All right, 2/3. Just checking out those numbers. Does 2/3 reduce? No. So I'm going to bring that along. Now I have x to the 4 minus 2. Top minus bottom. X to the 4 minus 2. I do not know what is going on there. Gives me x to the 2nd. And that's where I'm working, up here in the top. So that's where I'm going to put them. Y to the negative 4 minus a negative 3. We're subtracting, and it's negative 4 minus negative 3. So that's going to give me plus 3. So I've got y to the negative 1. Then there's z to the negative 3 minus 4. Same sign, add those numbers, keep that sign to the negative 7. All right, 2 that are negative, so you know what has to happen. They've got to be moved. So I'm going to say 2x to the 2nd power. Those are staying up top. 3 is staying where it's at, but that y to the negative 1 has to come downstairs, and now it's a positive 1. And the z to the 7 has to come downstairs, and now it's a positive 7. Okay? Pause the video anytime or raise your hand if you're in the classroom while you're doing this, and I will come and explain, or just do it over. Rewind the video. Make this stuff work for you. All right, number 28. 2h to the third, j to the negative 3, k to the fourth, 3, j to the fourth. Whoa, I don't know what that's. In line 4. All right, 2 over 3. Doesn't reduce, so I'm bringing it along. Are there any other h's? Nope, bring it along. J's, I've got 2 j's, so I've got j to the negative 3 minus 4. Gives me j to the negative 7. Do I have any other k's? Nope. Just bring it along. If there's nothing to simplify it with, then you just bring it along. All right. Only one negative, so that's got to move. So I have 2h to the third, k to the fourth, 3j to the 7th. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, this was not j to the fourth. This was just j. So that is minus 1. Come on. Which makes this 4. Which makes this 4. Okay? I'm sorry about that. I saw the wrong one. All right, last one for me and you. I have 3x to the third, y to the negative 1, z to the negative 1, x to the negative 4, y to the 0, z to the 0. Now, those zeros are just ones. So I can just ignore them because they're just ones. I do have a 3. I have x to the 3 minus negative 4, which is going to give me x to the 7th, and it's positive. I have this y. There's no other y's because this was just a 1. So that's got to go down. And this z was just a 1, so I only have this one z, so that's got to go down. So my final answer on this one is 3x to the 7th over yz. All right, you make sure that you get the rest of them done. We pretty much did all of the evens. So you should have just a couple evens, and then you have the odds to get done, okay? Make sure you're showing me your work, guys.